watch what he's talking about because, of course, we'll probably be talking about it together on the following Monday. But I just wanted to let you guys know on my end, uh, just having found my sister and staying up late talking with her. Yeah, I missed what I was supposed to do, and then plus I was up late doing my show I said I was never gonna do on Sunday nights because of the Monday morning convos. But I do hope that you guys will tune in to what Pastor Jay is saying. And if you haven't seen it yet, please do go over and follow and then listen, and then of course be part of the replay. So as we start learning more about what the decisions of what people do, regardless of who, there's always going to be consequences from that. And you just don't know about when you plant those different types of seed, how it's going to be affecting someone else's life, no matter what that is. And for me, in particular, when the seeds of my birth was planted, you just don't know how it's going to turn out. And I didn't understand what was going to happen for me. And I just felt the entire time being as a discarded type of a seed. Not that God doesn't have a plan, but He did. And not understanding that the decisions of my parents before me, what that would do, because there's something that happens psychologically. You have to figure out what's going on. So please do follow what Pastor Jay is talking about. But if you are a parent or someone that's going through relationships, please remember that the decisions that you make will have an effect on that person later. I didn't know when I was being born how that would affect me because I wasn't here. But the two people that came together to create me, now I have to go back and dig through some things, right? So I just want to come on and say, we will be doing Monday again. I just wanted to come on and share just briefly about those type of decisions. So I know in this world we're gonna all go through things, and sometimes it's hard to make really good decisions, but try your best to think past the moment, to think past that good feeling, especially when it comes to bringing children into this world, because they won't stay kids forever. They will turn out to be adults like myself, and then they're going to have questions. And then you, as mother and father, either go either you're going to answer, pardon me, either you're going to answer or you're going to hide or you're going to not say anything. But eventually, the dirt that's been covered up will become the truth and the truth will be found out. So it doesn't matter how much you try to hide something. Just recall that and know that there are decisions that we all have choices to make, and making the best ones for that child will help them. Because for young women, especially, if there's a father that they need to know, please give them the opportunity to know him. No matter what kind of relationship, women, that you have with that man, if it's not a good one and he's abusive, I understand to stay away. But if it's not that, it's anything else but that, or it's not something where it has to do with rape or incest or molestation or any of those other things, then allow that child to know her father. Allow that son to know his father. We have a lot of people growing up that I'm finding out. My sister is one of them. I have another sister. There is a lot of us. And our as adults, we have a lot to think about. We have a lot to go and discover about ourselves, trying to figure this adult thing out with relationships. And the first relationship that's super important for women, especially, is their father being in life. Now, I have a dad who adopted me, and he took care of the responsibility of my father who dropped that ball. But as the biological father, there were some things that should have been taught to me weren't. So in relationships dealing with men, which I have a lot of them, it's a little challenging. So I'm going to get out here so you guys can finish talking Pastor Jay. If you guys are tuned in, you guys have an amazing and blessed day. And I hope that everything that you guys have hearing from me, you guys remember. Just remember that anything you do, decisions have consequences. Let your seed that you plant, of whatever it is, let that be something that is of goodness. Let that be something that you want to reap later. That's going to come to you. Reap things that are good. Reap things that are good. Plant things that are good so you can reap those good things. Don't plant seeds, try to hide it, and don't think it's not going to sprout up, because it may not sprout up into that flower that you thought. And you thought over time that evil seed that you planted that you thought might grow up to be a flower, somehow it turns out to be this crazy wild weed that you don't really want, but it continues to grow and it continues to get bigger. And now it's gotten stronger. And there are some of those weeds, and I'm going to say this before I get out of here. I used to have to get the weeds out of our garden and get them out of the grass. And there was a certain kind of weed. It was so prickly. When you touched it, you had to have gloves on. So when you pulled it up, if it was a big weed, it was so hard because the roots were so strong. You couldn't just pull it up, because if you try to pull it up without your gloves, those needles were so strong. So you had to get your gardening gloves on and really go down with the tool that plucks the root out of the ground. You had to pluck the root, and when you plucked the root out, it was so hard because the roots were so deep and it was so strong, embedded into the ground. That one had been there for a long time. So when you take it, you have to dig at the root. And when you dig at the root, then you could pull it up easily. But then after you pulled up that root, there was a big hole. There was a big hole because that root had been there for so long. There was a big hole in that soil. And that's what the decisions, if you plant the wrong ones and you plant that seed and it turns into a root, those roots go deep, very deep. And in a human being, that person's going to have questions as an adult. Their kids are going to have as an adult. And what are you going to say? I didn't know. I have no idea. How did I get here? I don't know, but you don't want to talk about it. But I'm here because you made a decision. And a person has a right to know their history. Every woman, every man, every boy and girl has a right to know where they come from. They have a right. They didn't just come here by osmosis. They have a right to know. My kids know their father. I can't say he's the best guy because he's not. That book is about him, but they know who he is. So if in the event when they grow of age and they want to seek him out, I won't deny it. That'll be their choice. Don't alienate your kids from that parent before they even have a chance to make a decision on their own. If that mother or if that father is a bad guy or a bad woman, you steal the opportunity from them to know other family members as well, because he is not the only thing there. The mother is not the only thing there. If you don't like the mother, but the mother has aunts and uncles, brothers, maybe, unless she's an only child, there's grandmothers. There's other parts of relatives that that person could be connected to, and you cut it off. You cut off that person getting to know other brothers and sisters, cousins and uncles, all of that. And that is unfair. You don't have to have nothing to do with that man, but you did deny that person the opportunity to get to know who their other side of their blood, the other side of who they are. They're walking around, and I'm talking from experience. I was walking around for what, 40 some odd years as half of a person. As half. So I will